Hey there, Wizzy. It's time for another episode of the podcast.
I'm 1,000 miles away, and I mean quite literally.
It's true. We are literally miles away.
Wait, did you say
Thousands of miles away, in fact.
Do you say it's true? Wait. Is that the next
Yes,
lyric in the song?
it's true that we are thousands of miles away.
I thought that was the next lyric in the song,
What?
but now I can't really remember. I know it rhymes with something like Times Square can't shine as bright as you.
I don't fucking know. Dude,
It's been too long since I've heard that.
I have not listened to that song in a minute. Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to the Ross and Wizzy's Fanfiction Power Hour. I'm your title lead, Ross Pitt Shark Hunter. With me today is the second billing, Wizzy Puff.
I only let him have that title because I don't want to watch the show, and he knows more about the show, so yeah, it makes sense.
Guess what? Today, I'm drinking a nice, cold, refreshing glass of beer because I can now drink.
He's 21 years old.
Ignore the fact that this sounds like bottled water. It's beer.
It's straight up vodka, bro.
I just decided to get a glass of beer out of the fridge and pour it into this nice handy-dandy water bottle.
Hey, Ross.
Yeah, buddy.
It better not be Corona beer.
Stop it. Get help.
Let's get some help.
Wizzy, today we are going to be reading SunLight Sliders by Novel Idea.
Oh, yeah. And this time I get to narrate.
Mm-hmm. For those who don't know about this one, SunLight Sliders is a Sunset Shimmer x Twilight Sparkle fan fiction. So, you know, one of the best ships. And it's also 28 chapters long. We can't read 28 chapters. So this is a multi-part series. Oh yeah, haven't had one of those since... Well, you know, we're doing the Celestia Code. Maybe we'll get back to that in like 3 weeks or something, but
we haven't done a comedy one since Princess Celestia gets mugged.
Exactly. I don't know how much this is a comedy, rather a lighthearted one, but
whatever.
I suppose we'll have to find out if we read the fan fiction.
If it has the pop techno theme, I call it the comedy episode. If it has the violin whatever theme, I call it the drama episode. Okay?
Well, sure, that's fair. Wizzy, I hope that you don't go crazy reading this. I really do. And I think we're gonna do 4 chapters today.
Ross, it has a gay ship. I'll be fine.
You're right. Actually, there's 29 chapters in this. I just realized. Good luck.
SunLight Sliders, Chapter 1, Novel Idea. Do you want to be Sunset?
Wait a minute. That's the name of the person who wrote this.
Oh.
And of course I want to be Sunset. What are you? That's pretty funny. Naming the chapter after yourself. Twilight, I don't think this is a good idea.
You're right. It's a great idea.
All right, great voice. Just going to have to ask you to pick up the pace whenever reading it. Otherwise,
I was trying to decide on a voice. I decided on a narration voice first.
Right. Just pick up the pace.
Sunset Shimmer rolled her eyes as the alicorn tinkered on the large workshop table in front of the inactive portal to Canterlot High. Twilight, Princess Twilight, stuck out her tongue as she fiddled with her counterpart's strange little device. She'd been playing with it all morning.
You do realize that this thing stole all our magic?
Sunset pointed out.
Ripped it right out of us? It even took the magic of the portal?
That's the whole point. Twilight squealed without looking up. After you wrote to me about her creation, I had to see it for myself. Do you understand the implications of this? If we can harness the power of this device, we could revolutionize transportation throughout Equestria, assuming we can lock it into a single-dimensional plane. At the very least, the two of us could generate a portal to see each other at the press of a button. Sunset shook her head, but she couldn't help but smile at Twilight's antics.
So similar to Twilight on the other side, yet so different. Their geek-outs and freak-outs are the stuff of legend. Then again, so are mine.
Sunset blushed as she watched the princess work.
It also doesn't hurt that she's the one who saved me from my worst freak-out of all time. At least this Twilight's freak-outs don't involve becoming a raging she-demon. I hope.
Though Sunset had finally forced herself to come back to Equestria, she still hadn't mustered the courage to face Princess Celestia, even after the new revelations at Camp Everfree, despite assurances from every pony and everybody involved, wink wink, nudge nudge, it's a reference to Equestria girls, involved. She just wasn't ready for that. On the other hoof, she knew she didn't have anything to prove to Twilight, not anymore. Twilight had made that abundantly clear when Sunset had stepped back into Equestria. The look on the Alicorn's face when Sunset brought the other Twilight's amulet through the portal had made her feel more wobbly than being back on 4 hooves. The other Twilight, Princess Twilight, had decided to call her Sci-Twi for some incomprehensible reason, had been glad to be rid of the thing. Despite coming to terms with her own magical abilities, the amulet was a reminder of what Sci-Twi had become. She didn't want anything to do with that part of herself ever again. Princess Twilight had been more than happy to take it off her hands.
Okay,
Twilight chirped. She looked up with a bright grin, leaped into the air, and placed the modified amulet on a small pedestal in front of the inactive portal.
I think we're ready to energize the system.
And you're sure it won't rip the magic right out of Princess Celestia's copy of the journal?
Sunset glared suspiciously at the amulet. Twilight shook her head.
This is me, Sunset. Magical theory is my specialty. Just like another unicorn I happen to know.
Sunset shrugged sheepishly. Say that 5 times
That
fast.
was a... Sunset shrugged sheepishly. Sunset shrugged sheepishly. Sunset shrugged sheepishly. Sunset shrugged sleepishly. Fuck. No, I can do it. Give me time, Wizard. Give me time.
One more chance is all you get, and you know the price of failure.
We just keep reading?
Yeah.
Sunset should... Well, that was it. I'm gonna pretend that I did that on purpose. That was a long time ago.
You were in Equestria for less than 5 minutes before you got all of your spells back.
Twilight cocked an eyebrow.
Anyways, the wards I placed around the book will make sure the amulet doesn't take too much. We've both studied this mirror and Starswell's research into alternate realities. We're ready for this. I've been planning for it ever since you first mentioned the device.
Okay, fine.
Sunset laughed.
You win.
Wonderful.
Twilight clapped her hooves together as she hovered in the air.
Initiating the first empowerment test of the trans-dimensional portal talisman.
She moved to throw the lever. I can't say that. She moved to throw the lever.
Can we shorten that to the talisman?
Fine.
Twilight muttered.
Spoil sport.
Sunset smirked. Twilight threw the lever. The bizarre equestrian technology surrounding the portal began to glow with magical energy. Princess Celestia's copy of the journal floated in midair for a few seconds before bolts of pink magic lashed down into the strange contraption. Moments later, the energy reached the emitters. Normally designed to refocus the magic of the journal into the portal, now they fired directly into the talisman. A shockwave of pink light erupted from the talisman, throwing Sunset back a few feet. When her vision cleared, Twilight was sprawled against a bookshelf on the far side of the room, groaning as a few more books landed on her head. Sunset stifled a giggle before trotting up to the gently glowing talisman. Moments later, Twilight joined her. Sunset levitated the device to Twilight for inspection. Since Twilight had more experience with dimensional magic, her brow furrowed as she cast a comprehensive analysis spell. The alicorn frowned and watched the talisman with a critical eye for a few moments before she burst into a grin.
I think we have it,
Twilight crowed.
Oh, this will get me published in Equestrian Journal of Magical Theory. Again, and you will be my co-author.
With a squeal of glee, Twilight threw her hooves around Sunset and squeezed her with a ferocity that rivaled Pinkie Pie. Then, before Sunset realized what was happening, Twilight kissed her cheek. Sunset instantly went red.
What was that for?
Sunset blinked a few times. Twilight's ears went back as she blushed.
Just thank you?
Well, that was unexpected. Not that I mind, I think.
Now, let's try this thing out.
Twilight said in a voice that was far too loud. Sunset was more than happy for the change of subject.
Wait, don't you want some friends to come along? Or maybe Spike?
Implying Spike isn't her friend.
He's her brother.
It
Or
still
possibly
sounds
adopted son.
it still sounds kind of exclusionary from her list of friends. And you get what I'm saying.
No, yes, I agree. Spike deserves more.
He deserves better, my boy.
He's not your boy, he's my boy. Back off,
Okay, you can
pal.
have him. Twilight shook her head.
I've calibrated it to handle just the two of us. Putting more ponies through the portal could have unexpected side effects.
Sunset raised an eyebrow.
Oh, please, let me press the button already.
Twilight begged, jumping up and down like a filly on Hearthswarming Day. I was just reading Hearthswarming Eve a second ago, so my bad.
Please, please.
Oh, okay.
Sunset laughed.
Just do it already. I don't care.
Twilight's hoof tweaked the dimensional tuner, currently set to a location near Canterlot High. The dial sat just above a small digital reader that showed the talisman's current charge level. Sunset herself had been the one with the idea to use ambient magical energy to recharge the device. In Equestria, it would charge in less than an hour. In the other world, it would probably take a couple hours, half a day at most.
And here we go.
Twilight pressed the activation button, and immediately a burst of violet and amber energy erupted from the talisman. A few seconds later, it coalesced into a pulsing, shimmering, circular gateway in space and time.
We did it! We did it! We did it!
Twilight squealed, bouncing around Sunset.
It's the same magic as Star Swirl's mirror. The basic spellwork matrix is identical.
Now, actually, Ross had just explained to me who Star Swirl was the other day. So, don't worry, I know what I'm doing. She hesitated.
Well, almost. I'm sure the few arcane irregularities I'm sensing are just because of the portal's wonderful new portability.
Sunset tried to keep her expression to a smirk, but a giggle slipped out before she could stop it.
Okay,
Twilight said.
Let's hop on through, say hi to our friends, and then hop back. Just a quick jaunt around the old dimensional block for an initial test.
She has to be excited if she just used all in a sentence.
Sunset thought with a smile.
I have to admit, I really want to try this now.
Sunset nodded.
Together.
Twilight grinned.
Together. One, two,
three.
Without hesitation, Sunset and Twilight leaped through the portal. The swirl of light and sound was a little different than usual, but it lasted only seconds. Immediately, they came crashing down onto a cold, thrumming metal deck. Sunset looked up, and her eyes went wide.
Twilight, this doesn't look like Canterlot High.
Twilight looked up. She gasped, and her wings flared. They were on the bow of a great airship as it descended upon a coastal city. Pegasi in steam-powered armor dove in formation as klaxons blared out across the deck. The sky exploded in blasts of magical fire from the harbor guns below.
This is Captain Stormbreak. To all hands, initiate Operation SunLight. All cannons open fire.
How you started doing that voice was really good. It sounded like, I don't know who that reminds me of, but it reminds me of some character. A voice called out over the speaker system. The ship's hull boomed as sunset and twilight. What was that?
Reminds me of some character too. Maybe guy named Captain Stormbreak.
Hey! The ship's hull boomed as sunset and twilight scrambled to the railing to look down. Massive turrets spat magical energy toward the city below as enemy aircraft, gyrocopters piloted by earth ponies, and griffins leaped to meet the massive airship and her escorts. Any enemy caught in a blast was instantly knocked unconscious and left floating in midair in a strange little bubble.
For Queen Twilight and Queen Sunset.
Captain Stormbreak called out as two more enormous airships descended from the clouds, each flying banners emblazoned with the intertwined cutie marks of sunset and twilight.
For the Republic of Magic.
Twilight?
Sunset asked as she turned to stare at the alicorn. Twilight's eyes were huge.
Maybe it needs some calibrations?
Yeah, no shit.
Sunset face-hoofed. The end.
Well, that was
no
a great
continuation
story.
Ever.
All right, next chapter. Or, I guess, the same chapter, just extended. I'm sure there's a reason why they had to split this up into Chapter 1 and Chapter 1 extended, but, well, I can't think of any.
Consistency between the words of each chapter?
Sure. Let's go with that.
Chapter 1 extended. Novel idea.
Calibrations?
Sunset shouted.
Are you kidding me?
Hey, I'm doing my best here.
Twilight snapped back. Her ears flattened as a nearby airship took a massive hit to its port side, sending steam, brass, and debris crashing down into the raging battle below. A gyrocopter was knocked out of the sky by a runaway propeller blade.
Where are we?
Sunset demanded as the great airship accelerated and began its descent toward the city, its cannons booming every second as it unleashed magical fury in beams of amber light. A pair of harbor guns swiveled and returned fire. Sunset threw herself over Twilight as a cannon blast nearly took their heads off, instead impacting on the airship's balloon. From Twilight's position under Sunset, she marveled at the shield that shimmered into existence before the blast could strike the envelope.
Sunset?
Wait, can Sunset, summon a shield?
Probably. Twilight can.
Twilight can?
I don't see why Sunset can't.
I didn't realize these were things that could happen.
Yeah. They've always been able to do stuff like this.
Twilight can, Sunset can, Steven Universe can, but I can't.
Yep. Anyways, did you say Twilight's line here?
Yeah.
This is not where I expected to be today.
Sunset muttered as a gyrocopter soared just over the bow, pursued by a pair of armored Pegasi.
Sunset?
Twilight repeated, going red.
What?
She snapped and looked down at Twilight. They were nearly muzzle to muzzle. Sunset paled and her eyes shrank. Her horn ignited and she teleported back to her hooves.
Ew, back off, weirdo. Sorry.
She said as she reached out a hoof to help Twilight back up.
Don't mention it.
Twilight murmured.
But let's, focus on,
The airship bucked beneath them, sending the talisman of Twilight's magic. Only a quick grab by Sunset prevented it from sailing over the railing into the chaos in the sky.
Repair teams to Deck 6.
Captain Stormbreak shouted over the intercom.
Firing teams, I want those guns torn apart. The shimmering dawn isn't about to fall to some rebel shippers.
Hey, that's me, the rebel shipper. Heyo!
Glad you could think of something for that, because I was drawing a blank.
Despite themselves, they couldn't pull back from the railing. What they saw over the side of the bow was just beyond description. The two other airships had fully engaged the enemy air support. Gyrocopters flittered all over the place with armored griffins and steam-powered Pegasi flying in tight formations. Energy blasts like lightning flew across the war zone as the three ships descended upon their target. Twilight forced her attention back to the trans-dimensional portal talisman and flared her magic. In an instant, a floating holographic diagram, the arcane circuitry appeared above the... I'm confused. Is that supposed to be circuitry?
Yeah. Circuity.
In an instant, a floating holographic diagram, the arcane circuitry, appeared above the device. Twilight's eyes darted through the schematic, trying to determine the fault.
There.
Sunset pointed a hoof at a small relay near the center of the original anomaly containment unit at the core of the device. Her hoof went through it for a moment when the shimmering dawn took another hit.
That can't be right. It looks like it's still configured to absorb magical energy, but at only a fraction of what it used to.
Good eye.
Twilight said as she studied the relay. She didn't have the tools for this. She didn't have the time. And she couldn't do it in the middle of a war for Pony's sake. Then it came to her.
Oh, pony feathers. That means it was never locked to Canterlot High in the first place. That means I think we're in some alternate reality. How did I miss that?
Wasn't that the plan anyway? Weren't they going to go to an alternate reality?
Yeah, but a safer one. I don't think you did.
Sunset braced herself against another impact.
I think it may have been hardcode.
Hard-cod, actually.
You know what it's trying to say, pal.
Attention all hands. Gyro wing coming around for another pass. Short-range turrets fire at will. Which one is Will?
Sunset froze and stared at Twilight, going pale. However, Twilight suspected the reason she went pale was not embarrassment this time. Twilight turned and felt her blood go cold. 6 gyrocopters, strange whirling mechanical contraptions with more moving parts than seemed possible, were bearing down on the bow of the shimmering dawn. They were painted in a strangely familiar pink and blue color scheme, and each of them carried massive crackling energy cylinders that could only be weapons. The first 3 opened fire. Sunset dove to the side, and Twilight immediately flared her best shield spell. It absorbed the first 3 hits. But I get it. It's because they can do magic. That's why they can just summon shields like that.
No shit.
Hey, shut up. They're unicorns.
Yeah. They can do
Not
magic.
many people know, but unicorns are mentioned 9 times in the King James Bible.
What's your point?
That
I
I'm not a
agree with
Christian,
you.
so I don't know much about unicorns.
I hate you. Why is my friend like the worst person on earth?
I don't know, but I'm glad I'm not him.
You are him, Wizzy. That was the joke, Wizzy.
And my
I'm
joke
getting my
was that
revenge
we're not
for the
friends
episode
anymore.
I'm editing right now, Wizzy.
Okay, where was I? It absorbed the first 3 hits, but the drain on her magic was intense. She growled with the effort. Sunset was already striking back. Beams of teal fire erupted across the hissing bow of the airship, slicing through the rotors of one of the ships. It exploded instantly, leaving behind an unconscious pilot in a bubble of magic. Moments later, Pegasi and Sunset and Twilight's colors were there, blasting away at the gyrocopters with beams of brilliant violet electricity. The remaining gyrocopters unleashed the full might of their arsenal just before another went down. However, they hadn't fired at Twilight or Sunset. They had targeted the deck. The deck below their hooves erupted in a blaze of steam and fire. Twilight was thrown overboard, but managed to catch herself with her wings to the gyrocopters fully engage the Pegasi. Gyrocopters fully engage the Pegasi. She glanced around for Sunset. Her heart plummeted with Sunset.
Well, this has been a swell day.
Sunset thought as she felt what was probably her doom.
At least I got a kiss from...
She shoved that little detail out of her head and focused her magic on a mass effect spell, shifting her density to make her heavier. After all, if she didn't catch the talisman falling toward the ocean's surface, they would be stuck in this crazy world with no chance of getting back to Equestria. Pegasi
Just so
spun in
everyone
the air
knows,
around
I
her.
was trying
Flat
to
cannons.
I was trying to think of a Mass Effect joke, but he went way too fast for me.
I'm trying to go fast because you told me to go fast, okay?
I know. I told you to go fast with Twilight's lines.
And then I started going fast with the
You
narration.
were saying them. You said the first one like this.
Pegasi spun in the air around her. Flat cannons tore at the sky. Gyrocopters erupted in magical fire. Griffins screeched in anger. Sunset pushed it all away, focusing on the little purple trinket. But it was out of reach.
Oh, I am so going to regret this.
Sunset ignited her horn and teleported straight down. Instantly, she snatched the thing in her hooves and breathed a sigh of relief. Then she realized she was still plummeting to her doom. There was a flash of purple magic, and she crashed into something warm, soft, and lavender. Ooh, that must be Twilight. Sunset fought back the sigh of relief as she looked Twilight in the eye, even as she was cradled in the alicorn's hooves. Aww.
What took you so long?
Twilight rolled her eyes.
I took the scenic route.
Sunset froze as 9 Pegasi suddenly swooped up to them.
Oh, come on. The scenic route? Are you serious?
Sunset growled.
Shimmering Dawn,
Shouted one of them into some sort of headpiece.
we have confirmation of queens on site. Repeat, queens on site. We're bringing them in now. That voice.
Oh,
Twilight
my God.
muttered. The lead Pegasi pulled off her helmet to reveal the pony with a yellow coat and a matted mane of yellow and gold.
Oh my God.
Who's
That
Spitfire?
voice with this character.
What?
The Spitfire is the captain of the Wonderbolts. She has very much not that voice. In fact, about the exact opposite of what that voice
Is it like Jane Lynch or something plays her?
I don't know who plays her. Either way, she has a very raspy voice. She's like, you know,
Lynch.
she has to captain a military thing, so she's very yelly all the time and stuff like that. So
You
with
know
those recruits
who,
into shape.
You know the person who plays Fix-It Felix's wife?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I wasn't sure if you knew.
Seriously, calling her Fix-It Felix's wife.
Well, I couldn't remember the character's name. I just remember her as like the commander or something.
You disgust me.
I promise I'm not sexist.
Now, excuse me while I look it up. It's Sergeant Calhoun.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Anyway, that's the kind of voice that I imagine
wonder
you're
you
talking
couldn't
about.
remember. Anyways, let's continue.
Your Majesties,
Spitfire cried.
this area isn't secure yet. We need to get you back on the flagship ASAP.
Roll with it.
Sunset muttered in Twilight's ear. Twilight nodded.
Very well.
Twilight said in her most imperious tone.
Lead the way.
Sunset didn't let go of Twilight once as the Pegasi escorted them through the battle back to the great airship.
This is gonna get embarrassing.
Do I have to do all the voice for a little bit? No, I don't. Okay. I thought that's what you were referencing.
It was an honor, ma'ams. The captain sends his regards.
King Dragon sends his regards.
Yes, that's exactly what I was referencing.
But as he's commanding this battle, he won't be able to speak with you until the rebels have been quelled. Thank you.
Twilight nodded.
You performed excellently.
Spitfire saluted smartly.
It is an honor to serve the cause, Your Majesties. The captain's Atachi, SunLight fan number 10,204, will be with you shortly.
Oh my god.
You'll find she's quite fervent in her devotion, almost too fervent. Okay.
Oh, what do you mean, too fervent?
Sunset asked. Spitfire fluffed her wings awkwardly.
It's not for me to judge, your majesties, but 204 tends to probably too much time in the more fanciful tales of your exploits.
She's reading Twilight and Sunset Clopfigs.
Oh god. This is going to be fascinating.
Thank you.
Twilight repeated.
That will be all.
Spitfire saluted once more, did a smart-about face, and departed from the small conference room. The second the door was open, Twilight brought out the talisman again with a holographic diagram.
Sunset, I've been thinking about this.
Twilight bit her lip.
I don't have the tools to fix this properly. I think I
Okay.
can aim us in the general direction of home, but who knows how long it'll take to get back there.
Sunset
no.
put a hoof on her shoulder.
Twilight, it's okay. We both missed it, and you shouldn't beat yourself up about it. I mean, you should beat yourself up about it more than me, but who knows? This might end up actually being fun. Seeing alternate timelines, whole different worlds. Sounds pretty cool to me.
Twilight chuckled at that.
You know, it doesn't sound all that bad when you say it like that. It's been a little while since I've had a good adventure. I don't think I've ever had one just,
Twilight coughed slightly.
with you.
Ooh.
Twilight was sure she didn't see a faint blush on Sunset's cheeks. That would have been silly, ridiculous even.
Yeah.
Sunset said in a voice far too loud.
Exploring the multiverse, just me and you. Sounds like a great time.
Twilight nodded.
As long as we're together.
Sunset smirked.
All right, Twilight. Let's finish this the way we started. Together. It was just together, but I preferred to reference Harry Potter. The movie, not the
Never
book.
read it. Never seen it.
You should watch it. It's fun.
Yeah. The door opened a moment later and admitted another Pegasus, a very familiar-looking one at that.
Fluttershy?
Oh no.
Oh my god.
Oh no. Oh no.
Twilight and Sunset cried, appropriately, together.
The end.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. Fluttershy? Sorry, I thought that was just Twilight, but no. All right, next chapter, baby.
Chapter 2. Not So Wicked Witch. Is that another user? There's no spaces, so it
Wait a
very
minute.
well
Hold on. Yeah, I'm looking at these titles, and I think so.
Yeah, it looks like they're all just like shout-outs to other
Hold on,
writers. That's cool.
hold on.
You looking for yourself?
I think they're writing this. Okay.
Oh, is this a
Sunlight
collab?
Sliders is the result of the Sunset Shimmers Community Epic 3-month collaboration project where each author had 3 days to write a 500 to 1,500 chapter in the ongoing
That is so
saga of
cool.
Sunset
Oh,
and
so
Twilight
that's why it
Voyage.
was that's why it was extended.
Of course, this makes sense now.
But then again, it
I'm
could've just been one
excited for
chapter
this
still.
now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I had my theories, but I was uncertain.
Twilight Sparkle awkwardly adjusted the teacup, currently clenched in her aura, her irises focusing on the rather timid pony that sat to her front. Sunset Shimmer merely sniffled, the cold air around her tingling her nostrils. Today was one of those days. Those days when you traveled to another dimension, ended up being the queens of same universe, and even somehow managed to come across one of your best friends. Well, in a way.
I know how you feel.
So,
Fluttershy, otherwise known as SunLight Fan number 10,204 in this universe, slightly twitched around in her wooden seat. A pair of goggles perched on her forehead were completely steamed up, and a mechanical rabbit proceeded to repeatedly stamp its foot on the ground.
Angel Bunny is Beetleborg, I guess. Or whatever it's called in Epic Mickey. I was trying to make an Epic Mickey joke there. Guess that didn't work.
I'm sorry. I really didn't expect you both to show up.
No need to apologize, darling.
Sunset assured, equally as uncomfortable as her comrade.
We, didn't really expect to show up either.
Twilight nodded in agreement. Twilight nodded in agreement, an uneasy grin forming on her lips.
Really?
Number 10,204 questioned.
Oh, of course. You two are very important ponies, after all. You do have that issue with the Pinky Dash Nation. Oh my god, this is amazing.
No.
This is the greatest thing ever.
Pinky Dash, that's so home wrecky. It's Apple Dash.
Okay, well, first off, this was made in 2017, so shut your goddamn mouth, you son of a bitch.
Excuse me, it was still a thing back then.
Sure, it was a thing back then, but it wasn't an actual canonical thing back then. Oh man, you're just like a fucking Sherlock shipper. Yeah, I went there. Speaking of which, Pinky Dash was my first favorite ship, so shut your mouth. Actually, it might have been Twidash. Either way, Rare Pie beats them both.
I don't know about that. Rare Pie isn't bad, but...
You don't know the chemistry.
I know chemistry.
Yeah, but you don't know the chemistry.
Excuse me?
Questioned Twilight.
But did you just say Pinky Dash Nation?
Fluttershy gave a quick nod, only adding more coal to the fire of confusion Twilight and Sunset were currently building.
You know, led by Queen Rainbow and Pinkamena Diane.
Reminded the Pegasus.
You do remember, right? I wouldn't want to make you feel even more awkward than you already may be.
Twilight and Sunset were both quiet for a minute. Maybe two. Their eyes met, and their situation had taken a turn towards Weirdville, or maybe even further, considering that in a world where you were the rulers, you would have been past Weirdville hours ago. Nevertheless, the two did their best to stay calm. That is, until Sunset Shimmer spat out her tea on the carpet and a bit of orange fluffy fur, and at that moment, tried truly was the most appropriate word to use.
Oh, are you okay?
Number 10,204 exclaimed, oblivious to the now sparkling rabbit that was flipping around on the floor. She quickly stood up, grabbing a spare handkerchief from her apron pocket and handing it over to the unicorn.
I really didn't mean to cause you any distress. Please just don't kill me.
I didn't mean to cause you more pain.
Kill you?
Twilight said, trying her best to contain the small giggle in her throat and making its way up to her cheeks.
Why in all of Equestria would we do that?
Fluttershy blinked.
Equestria?
She grimaced.
What kind of backwaters place is Equestria? Is that some new ship between Equestria and Ek? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know. My majestic, wonderful queens.
It's me around Rainbow Dash and Applejack. Sunset finished wiping off the small portion of tea from her body and now reaching towards the carpet where most of the damage was done, guffawed at the statement.
Who now? And what exactly is a ship? I mean, I'm assuming you aren't talking about the boat.
Oh, don't tell me you're running some kind of fever. Almighty, we need kawaii Sunset.
It's just the greatest fan fiction of all time. How have I never been recommended this?
Hey, it calls her Fluttershy here instead of number 10,204. Fluttershy said. Sunset and Twilight shared an eye roll. These names were getting more and more ridiculous as the conversation went on.
Why, a ship is the whole meaning of life.
Exactly.
Amen!
Hallelujah.
The mayor grinned.
Why, I'll sing a song about it right now.
Please, 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 please.
Twilight raised an eyebrow.
Oh, you really don't have to.
Pinky Dash, Rare Dash, Dyslexia, Equestria. These ships, oh yes, they're so fine.
She began twirling around like a ballerina on the stage.
Had in some club.
We're done.
Sunset quickly... Oh, I was mixing voices there. Sunset quickly interrupted.
Thank you for the visit, but
And then the mechanical rabbit that had been helplessly sparking on the carpet set on fire and took the carpet alongside with it, which, thankfully, just so happened to be the exact moment that Twilight and Sunset's little device decided to activate once more. Fluttershy frowned and quickly flew up from her chair that was currently burning and into the air. The smoke alarm in her cabin turned on. Her eyes filled with tears.
This happens every time.
Who's this?
what the heck?
Sunset and Twilight found their eyes focused on two human figures, one blue and the other pink, standing in front of them, and staring down as if they were an alien of some sort. And oddly, Twilight could almost swear there was some kind of magical shield between the two as well.
Ooh. Can we try this one?
Sure, I guess.
Come on, Dashy. These are stuffed animals we're talking about. Stuffed animals. Oh, I've always wanted a pony stuffed animal.
Trying to open her mouth, Sunset found herself panicking at the realization that she couldn't, almost as if her lips were stitched together.
No way. Okay. I'm getting it.
If Sunset's eyes could have widened at that moment, they would have been the size of tires, and the big claw heading towards her and Twilight wasn't helping the situation.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get this thing started.
The female voice, which by her high-pitched voice and energy Twilight and Sunset immediately recognized as Pinky, exclaimed. Invisible sweat trailed down Twilight's forehead.
Merry Christmas to me.
And then the claw tightened around Twilight's right hind leg. Merry Christmas, indeed. And Merry Christmas to everyone around us currently, because this episode is coming out after Christmas, but currently in time, I'm wishing Merry Christmas to everyone around.
Ho, ho, ho. Yep, I'm now getting what this is all about. Should be fun.
Hopefully, there's nothing, M-rated with all this shipping going on.
I mean, considering how it is a T-rated fic, I'm doubtful about that.
Yeah, they gotta sneak something in. You don't know. But I found this to be quite fun.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm excited to do more.
Me too.
But that'll have to wait until after we get to do the next chapters of the Celestia Code in our next episode.
I never said next episode. Maybe we'll do it next episode. We'll see.
Did.
I never said it. I said next maybe in like 3 weeks. That was a direct quote from me.
So,
yep, I'm really enjoying this fan fiction. I am terrified to see what happens next, though.
oh, and if no one could tell, I was trying to do George Takei for Twilight.
Oh, I couldn't tell, because you were terrible at it.
Well, screw you. We're done with this episode.
Please do.
Bye.
Bye.
They were on the bow of a great airship as it descended upon a coastal city.
Bless me.